is it easier to hack a human body than a car in 2012, said the jackpotter, the man who made an ATM spit money on the Las Vegas stage. And everybody went, that's impossible. And Barnaby Jack said, no, it ain't. Watch. Dead. Can't have you out there telling people it's easier to hack a human body than a car in 2012. We're not ready with the cyber-physical backbone yet. These optogenetic networks are not here by accident. They're made for body area networks. The main internet goes off. Your new internet comes on. That would be your body. And we're still dragging feet, dragging ass, and running circles around human physiology connected to the cloud. I haven't met anybody yet who said, yeah, I would like someone else out there to have a remote to my entire central nervous system through my own heart tissue. While everyone else gets told, man, sudden adult death syndrome, why are all these people dying? Routing computer networking through the human body's bioelectrical system without telling humans that they have an electrical body part at all, and nobody stopped and went, this is a problem. That this is the core of all of this. There's no getting out of it. They will electrocute you from the inside out like they have been. And instead of explaining to people basic triage, how to mitigate the system, we're still running circles telling people, oh, they're not a gonna. Net-centric warfare, cognitive warfare, 2007, 2014. If it's good enough for people to get up today and go to school for it, if it's good enough for people to get up today and go to work for it, if it's good enough for people to get up today and get on teleconferences and phones worldwide in telecommunications celebrating their conferences and their new digital twin modeling, etc., that is emergent technology. Now, if you've already had everyone's bodies with bioinformatics and genomics and metabolomics, if you've already had it for 18 and 28 years commercially, not hidden in DARPA, why is this so difficult to talk about? Human anatomy does not require a religion. But kind of like the days of the horse and buggy to the car, I noticed that it is a consistent problem that people cannot let go of the belief systems we were all brainwashed with growing up in order to insulate this tech being deployed upon people. We lied about satanic ritual abuse. Everyone lied and said they had no idea why it was done. When you nail down DARPA and say, where did your non-invasive brain technology come from? They just stare at you. Kind of like that stupid movie, Men Who Stare at Goats. They just stare at you, gaslight, and they go to work. We can't keep doing this. It's not hard. It's ugly. The Emperor has no biofield. Tell me how you're connecting people to the cloud. You're using human physiology. You didn't give them a new technology. You locked down their own immune system, tethered it to the cloud, and handed out remotes to other humans to hit buttons. Then you told them that's impossible, that it's all religious, it's all consciousness, and you spin them endlessly. The CBDC is cybersecurity. That's the wireless body area network. There's no going forward from here if you keep lying to people, whoever you might be, pretending that a vote or some sort of political hokum is going to get people out of a system that was mandated by the international community in 2014, meaning that there are no lawyers, there's no attorneys, nobody's coming to turn it off by law, international law. And those of you screaming ethics, you're a little behind. There was an artificial intelligence symposium in 2020 you should probably take a look at. So please, if you're out there and you're trying to be helpful, wireless body area network, that's what people need to know. They need to know that there is human physiology that has been stolen from humans, that is taught in colleges, that is taught, in electrical engineering, biohacking with biophysics, not cryptids. And the sooner we can get people there, the sooner we can work on triage, because they're not going to stop this. They're going to go ahead with full-on warfare in April. And when they do, and those of us here on CONUS have to deal with whatever fallout that we have here in our country, though the people that have done all this, they're not normal humans. They've hybridized. They've augmented. They either have chipsets embedded in their skull, or they have radiated their human body part, known as the human biofield. Morphogenesis, regenerative medicine, and life extension are at Tufts University, with hacking the bioelectric code and routing xenobots that reproduce using organoids and organelles. These are things that we need to be discussing with intellectual acumen. It's very difficult to get there because of all of this constant circling and noise about CBDCs and things that have already been finished. Agenda 2030 is done. SQL Hive, Structured Query Language Hive, is an actual database connector for Microsoft embedded in the skull. That product has been out here for 7 years. And you think, after having the cyber-physical backbone in 2017, nobody said a word. Everyone lied for ever since then. It's currently 2023. So for 6 years, we're not allowed to talk about emergent technology that our children and our professionals are going to school for. And now we're expected to talk Pizzagate? No. I want to hear about that technology. I want to hear about the hacking of the bioelectric code. I want to hear about how a cognitive city is reading my spinal fluid. I said spinal fluid. I did not say mind control. I want real technology, synthetic biology. I want Tufts University. I don't want to hear about Pizzagate. Waste of time. And I don't want to hear about bankers' Q clearance and their Q movement and their artificial intelligence using K-theory math and torsion manifolds. Toroidal fields. I want to hear that the aura is a body part, that that's human physiology. And I want to hear the right terminology, not it's my fractals. No, it's not. Those are your neurons. And anybody out there who still keeps going to the consciousness peddling, the UFO circuit, and on and on and on with all the lying that went on for 150 years, what are you doing? Thought you wanted to wake up. Now's the time. It's a wireless body area network holding our literal cell structure by voltage that we didn't ask for. You lied. You said it was a near field effect. You said it was fractals. You said you didn't know. But there you are. What the fuck is electronic integrated disease surveillance system for how many years? 2000 what? 8, 4. Holy shit. Yeah. How are you doing it? Bioelectric field. Bioelectric code. Biohacking. Biophysics. Optic tweezers. Optogenetics. Tomography. Infrared. Be here all day. And instead, more people. Nano's not real. They don't know what they're doing. There's no such thing as an atom. There's no such thing as photons. And nobody ever stopped and went, hey, I think we should tell the truth about emergent technology. Yeah, they did. Amongst themselves with satellite feeder grids. What's a feeder grid? It's a nano-satellite system. CubeSat. Nanotheranostics.com. And it watches you with the same air particulate that the Department of Energy is watching with the Q clearance. Why don't you go run to the same people yet again who made fun of you, who routed you, who wasted your time day in and day out for years, rather than pick up the Synergy Tech Metric PDF and go find a professional and discern very rapid fire. You've been underneath this system for 28 years of an optogenetic network that is routing your neurons with light. And nobody's willing to tell you how that's done when it's your own doctors and nurses that have been busy with it the entire time. All those people, your health, your protection, and you can include your IRS, your tax people, your FBI, etc., biosensors, wireless body area networks, national security. So why aren't we talking about it for your electronic integrated disease surveillance system? Oh, it's the Hunger Games. Yes, it is. A cognitive C40 city is using SQL Hive and cognitive body area networks. Cognitive body area networks have the power to have a drone go above your home and commit laparoscopic surgery. Tell me how. Right. So until we admit that humans are attached to the cloud and that it is as easy as the same wireless network as the cell phone, because it is.
Imagine my surprise when I exit and pivot from my background in engineering and telecommunications. That was my major. Um, um, Telecommunications with marketing concentration in media. That was my official major. So she's talking telecommunications, and I was a telecommunications. And I pivoted that into like video and media advertising stuff, my own. But my like classical training is in like basically all the stuff she's talking about. And so I'm listening to this lady explain how, in a nutshell, and this is for anybody who's wondering this whole time, like, what, okay, who is she? What is this lady talking about? I'm about to explain. I find after searching her name unsuccessfully on YouTube and then finding nothing on BitChute or Brighteon or Rumble, but some stuff, plenty on Odyssey and a couple things on Rumble, but more so on Odyssey, that she was a targeted individual. She was somebody who was experimented on and had a lot done on her. If anybody is not familiar with the concept of a TI, that is somebody who has acknowledgingly been manipulated or tampered with by elements of hierarchy that go above our government. And, usually TIs are interesting to me because they always got a bone to pick. They're always like, I don't care. I'm going to say what I'm going to say because I'm already at my wits' end anyway. And it's kind of like entertaining. Like half the time they'll be spinning in circles because they're just talking about the fact that government tampering exists. And we're kind of like, yep, you're the 57th person I've heard say that. Like, okay, what else can you tell me? Nothing? Okay, great. But in other cases, they happen to be former networking analysts. French 333 that's the exact channel. So these former network analysts make a lot of sense when they're talking network like protocols and stuff. And really all she's really saying, if I can simplify it to a nutshell and then I'll unpack what she means, is that there are protocols by which your phone connects to the Instagram server and then blasts out over simulcast to the other 280 something people that's watching today right now to my phone receiving there's several protocols happening, multiple computers at play, collecting this data, transmitting this data in close to real time. Classically, we know those as servers, computer servers, and those servers are usually industrial shaped computers, but just computers just like the ones on your desk or in your phone that sit in a rack mounted system that in some cases is liquid cooled because of how hot they get, that if they're under high demand will be buried underground in underground facilities specifically so that they can be kept cool because of how hot they get. And that is the general way that computing happens, is that the cloud is really some basement computer underground somewhere that has physical glass wires called fiber optic cables that are transmitting data at the speed of light under multiple strands of glass and at multiple phases so that multiple streams of data can be sent across the same piece of glass times 100 for as far as it needs to go across the ocean.
So if
or
I
however,
say
and most of
something,
our
this
internet is based in
data is going to some server and blasting it to the people watching this and to you as well.
Correct, exactly. And that's making this trip around the world in once or twice within probably, in the Instagram live case, there is like maybe like a 15 or 20-second delay. So the simulcast feature creates this buffer that creates this delay. But under a FaceTime or something more direct like a Zoom,
So
we're talking
I think
less
everyone
than
gets
1 second.
that because let's go step by step. So everyone understands that, I hope. Okay. So then next phase. So how does this?
Correct. And the internet backbone is simply a term. The backbone is a term that is the convergence point where all these DNS servers and node routers and cluster nodes and these other computer systems all report to these short lists of computers that are connected to large pipes called the backbone that physically run around the country and across under the ocean and stuff. And then the more like think of it like the veins in your body. These are the aortas and the main carotid arteries of the internet body, so to speak. And internet protocol is all about how to interface and send packets from your phone to my phone through this crazy highway, and have it be secure and have it be integral, meaning that there's no packet loss. My video don't start glitching up or the audio don't cut out. Anytime you see Joe's video glitch up for a second, it's because somewhere in that chain, some other data started removing attention from the packets sent from Joe's phone, and we see that as quality loss. So that's a basic understanding of computing and how digital information, like light from my light bouncing off my face into my camera sensor, being translated into my phone digitally, goes across, and y'all see it. So the next layer up is, imagine I told you that the human body is an incredibly powerful computer. Incredibly powerful, and that it's been my hunch for a while that modern computers are really derivatives of humans. So we are marketed to like, oh, computers will make you better. You should transhumanize yourself and merge with computers. You can be like RoboCop or somebody. But that's a lie, because the human body is way faster than a computer. Human neuron is way faster than the silicon in a computing chip. But the plan for the entire Internet of Bodies and Internet of Things, which are concepts built into this whole Agenda 2030, is to use your body as this computer and not the server in the basement. Your red blood cells translating photons, light energy at the atomic scale via your aura, or what's called your biofield. So this term, Biofield, is kind of the central nexus to what this lady
Chris, before you get to
talks
that,
about.
so when you're saying the human body as a computer, we're not even talking about the brain. We're talking about the whole brain and body and the biosphere, this aura fields. That all combined is the computer you're talking about.
Correct. Every cell that your body has electrical access to. So from your toe to your brain, with the field being the antenna, or think of the field like the Ethernet cable, and your body itself.
Because I don't know the processing speed of a neuron versus, a chip in a computer or so on, but I know a cell can do 1 million different biochemical processes per second. So that gives you a measure. Okay, so there's a lot of computing power in the human body. Okay.
Yeah. Yes, a tremendous amount, like by orders of magnitude, according to all the official MITs, DARPAs, all them. So little did we know that our bodies actually are powerful and made in the image of the Creator, the ultimate creation machine, and we bear electrical signals as witnesses to that. But they are in the process of hijacking those electrical signals using your body part. Now, if anybody goes and watches her videos, you will see her say this 20 times in every video at least. They took a body part. They took your body part. And this body part, she keeps reinforcing, is this 8 foot in all directions around you electromagnetic field of energy that when your hair stands up on your arm, that's you witnessing the electrostatic output. From fear, from love, from erotic touch, from all these different reasons your hair can stand up on your arm. But control over one's own body part, called their biofield, is the best line of defense in dealing and mitigating what's being assaulted on all of us. So I'm no expert at that.
But think about it.
So if you keep in mind that the biofield is just the internet connection, it's not the computer, it's just the connection. Your body is the computer, your red blood cells. So imagine that WordPress code, machine learning code, all like in a computer system, like we learn it. You're talking machine or software language, machine language, and then you have like the baseband layer, which is the physical hardware, the code that translates how this physical chip is supposed to deal with any information coming from the motherboard or from the processor. So in this step of computing, you have instructions, And all these instructions are kind of keeping in mind computers are built off of how your body works. So your body's genetic functions, your DNA, all these things have instructions. Now, a lot of people are questioning a lot about viruses and DNA and the existence of any of these, extant premises in modern science and medicine. But a lot of what this lady, as well as other people that I've heard speak on the matter, are saying is that if you couch it in terms of frequencies and plasma like wave states and not like esoteric, like it's not ethereal so much as it's mathematical, and it's not um uh woo woo foo foo juju so much as it's just different names given for different harmonic states of a particle or of an atom. So it's like the same things that the fringe discussions can start to speak about terms and spirit terms. A lot of that can be accounted for mathematically, which she and I both agree bears witness to a beautiful creator and a beautiful design, not this kind of evolutionary open-ended, we just got here because a bang went off. So she's basically saying that your biofield is an antenna. And since the year 1995, it has been on the books in the International Standards Organization that this antenna is accessible and open for private use on anybody with enough money to step up to the plate and purchase a few hundred humans to process data on without our consent. Precisely. And that was her big bone to pick, is that she was aware that this was happening, but she just didn't realize that this one layer in the networking node meant physical humans. It's called the cyber physical backbone. That's what, like, the physical backbone is what the physical wires are in the actual service that host all the core, like, aggregate math that goes up the chain in the bigger web. So it's like the center web in the spider web and all the main webs that the spider started with. That's like the backbone. And so imagine you're in networking and you see all this, all your job, and then nobody tells you that what you think is a server somewhere in Texas or Arizona or Los Angeles is really a bunch of people's bodies in the zip code.
So who owns the rights to sell our biofields to,
DOD. The DOD.
The
Department of Defense.
They have the
as
rights.
A matter of national security. They establish themselves as the vendor. Like, whether they have the right to, that's a matter of moral integrity. And I don't think that they do. But do they do it? Are they the primary vendor?
So you gave me an example of how Amazon bought the rights through the DOD to do exactly what?
To process shipping data on Amazon Web Services on people on certain spectrum within the wide body area network.
And she found this out. That this is fact.
Yeah, because it's because it's open and declared. Like, they stated at their symposiums, and like, you know how the DoD will, all these little agencies will host a so-and-so symposium, or like our defense contracts initiative ceremony of 2015 or whatever it is. She just attended one. And there's videos I've seen when I was searching for her where you see her at the symposium asking a question in the audience, and the guy's answering her question directly. And it's like, yeah, you can find the patents here, and here are our list of contracts.
Wait. Okay, so I like the way you're explaining it this way better. For some reason, in front of 270 people, this makes a lot more sense.
Because I'm going like micro slow. I'm really like trying to
man.
Open the
you're like talking to me before, like I was some computer science guy. But I understand these analogy this way. But wait. So time out. So Amazon paid money to the DoD, Department of Defense, to say we want data from this group of people, or whatever, so that we could use that data to understand how to ship more efficiently. That's in a nutshell.
That's layer one. That's the old school. They've been doing that since the 50s and 60s. I'm saying that they paid the DoD that said, we want to lease 800 gigabytes or terabytes or petabytes or whatever of bandwidth from the humans' bodies' red blood cells in this zip code and that zip code. to save costs on computational services from their server end, because it's cheaper to do that than physically
So
run
these
computers.
people in Texas, let's just say, they want to buy some Texas people's bodies to use as servers to store their information or use that to bounce off data somewhere else or whatever, right? What about the people there? Did they catch COVID? Is that what happened?
Yeah, what would have happened even prior to COVID, because COVID was just the dial up to broadband for the interconnection. That's what this was about. So the answer is yes, but what would have happened is those people would have felt an increased heart rate and strain on their fatigue, on their stamina, on their just energy in their body. Energy, literal neurons would be being siphoned off of them for
You think
use for other
maybe like
things in their
that could
brain is
affect
telling them
people's
to
like
use.
anxiety levels, like insomnia, that shit too?
Insomnia, anxiety, people's indigestion, people's fatigue. It could express itself, however, because who knows how much they need to use out of your cluster node that particular day. Are we mining Bitcoin data or processing booty cheeks? Like which one? Who knows? It's like agnostic ones and
Okay, cool.
zeros at that
Before we
point. You know what I
continue, I
mean?
just want to
It's
ask the
not
people
like
here, like, are you guys following? Because I'm following so far, but do you guys need any clarification? Because I don't know if we're going a little bit too fast here. This is like,
I saw somebody has asked if I've read her documents. The answer is partially yes. I'm still going through her main one. But yes, she maintains that the immune system is
yeah.
80% your biofield, because your biofield is affected by your skin. So your immune system is comprised of your skin, your spleen, your lymphatic system, there's a couple other key systems in there. Your skin, your spleen, your lymphatic system, your thyroid, or something like that, and
But
then one or two other
but
major
the
organs.
hard part of this for me to grasp is they're openly admitting that they are doing this. This is like public information that they are using humans
Yes.
as
Well,
servers.
put it like this: it's public information. Yes, it's public information when you put the pieces together. Nobody's standing up saying, "Hi, my name is Charles. I'm with the DoD, and we're using human bodies as computers." They're just saying we've deployed the cyber physical backbone on the wide body area network. And if you happen to look in the international standards at what that is, you see exactly what it is. And you have this lady who's essentially bridging the gap for you, saying, "Hello, this is my job, and I'm here to basically say, what the freak are they doing, y'all?
Wait,
They're like
okay,
straight
so
up
and so I'm reading some of
siphoning
the
data
comments
off
here,
of
and
people."
people are saying, "Well, why are they doing this?" So is it faster to use human bodies as servers than the computer?
Yes, and here's why. Because the point is for it all to be ad hoc and ubiquitous. Because servers are centralized. When I say, "Hey Joe, here's a photo of the two of us, a selfie, ka-ching," and I go text. It has to go from my phone to, my Wi-Fi or wherever the location we're at, to the server at T-Mobile, to the DNS server that routes it around town, to the other one that takes it to the backbone, to all the data centers and all the checks and balances that they don't tell you about, to your phone, and then show up on your computer or your thing. It's like 100 computers it goes through, and it happens like whoop,
Yeah.
like that quick. So if I just do an airdrop to you and I say, "Hey, let me airdrop it to you," that airdrop is creating what's called an ad hoc network. It's turning my phone into a small router, like a modem, and you're connecting, and then I'm sending like a P2P or some sort of basic file transfer to your phone, and it all just looks like a blue little
Yeah.
line, and Apple goes bloop, oh, airdrop. So it bypasses all those 100 computers. So that saves power on all of those 100 computers for me not to have to send you the
I get
same
that. Yeah.
JPEG that's 3 MB. Okay, so imagine the entire computing franchise is happening on supercomputers that are directly bioelectrically connected
Humans.
to one another ad hoc. Yes, this is the only thing that makes something like cryptocurrency sustainable, because everybody can tell you right now that data mining is clearly not green and clearly not sustainable in its present form. And I think that that's because they knew that they weren't going to be using this liquid cooled silicon underground for forever. It was just a stopgap, because the human body can process all of that and more. It just needs the IO. It needs the input output. IO is just a nickname for data going in, data coming out. If you remember back in the day, you used to have dial-up.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to go to Napster, download. And it was like 18 minutes to download one little song. Then you got Roadrunner Internet or Cox or Time Warner or Xfinity or whatever, and then you hit download and it says, zoop. And now you got Google Fiber, you say download, say, zoop. And now you got precognition. You're like, I want to, oh wait, it already downloaded. Like, how did you know I wanted to download? So all of that means is that more glass, more bandwidth was given to the protocols between your request and the other computer that was serving up your request. That's all that means. Your computer could always handle the file like this, but the data wasn't able to be transmitted.
So when you say
at a distance,
more band, the visual will be like if there's a tube that the information is going through, more band would be like it just able to go in a lot faster. Exactly. Is that a good visual, or is there a different visual that we should?
Exactly. That's a good one. That's a great one. A common visual is a highway. The traffic going 70 miles an hour on a 2-lane highway during rush hour, or 70 miles an hour on an 8-lane highway.
More band,
Dallas,
more
Texas,
room for information to go through. Okay. So
exactly.
The implementation of G-Money here, right? I remember when 2020, 2021 was happening, anyone who mentioned that, boom, right? So anyone that mentioned anything against the vaccine or this, boom. So we always knew that there was something with that, but we didn't know exactly like what it was. So this, what Sabrina Wallace is saying, is making piecing this all together for you.
Yes, because it finally is like, so, aha.
Can you explain that? Can you explain what
now I know what y'all were.
G-Money was all about? What does that do now? That in conjunction with this.
That was about, yes. So this G-Money was all about, and I said this from the beginning, I just never knew the bigger scope of what I was talking about. It's about increasing the available IP addresses, increasing the amount of bandwidth that could potentially be used. Like, so you live in, let's just say, Austin, Texas, a booming metropolis. The major highway that goes through Austin, Texas has 7 lanes on the highway. Let's just say we put a 50-lane highway in. Now, you're not going to fill that 50-lane highway tomorrow, but in 10 years you might. You see what I mean? So this G-Money was about having enough IP, enough possible unique identifiers that fall into this internet protocol to not overlap with somebody else's data elsewhere around the whole world, so that enough of those could exist and be viable for commercial use in the existing systems. That was the first half of what it was for. The other half of what it was for was to roll out, according to this lady, an application that triggers a series of symptoms that is later tracked for a feature they're working on in this DoD portfolio of things they offer for their customers, called Precision AI Healthcare. Precision AI Healthcare. It's another thing she talks about a lot, because Precision AI Healthcare is all about AI having nodes inside of you that are partly grown from your own biotissue, so they're like part of you, kind of, that report back home at such a regular basis that as of, I think she said, I think the number is 2018 or 2017, they have been able to guarantee a 40% minimum readout of the cellular state of your body. Meaning, if I'm your insurance company and I'm like, Joe, do I really want to insure Joe? DOD, how much does it cost for you to tell me exactly the cellular state in Joe Yee's body? He's on my roster of people who have a policy with my company. Okay, great. 10,000 versus 10,000. How old is he again? Okay, yeah, it's worth it. Okay, we'll pay. So they pay for the scan to be tossed into the AI algorithm, and whenever your number comes up, It reads back, and at every interval that they select, the cellular state of how inflamed or not, how hypoxic or not, whatever, every cell in your body is reported back to your insurance provider. And at any point that they say, oh, he's getting a bit diabetic, they have the ability to knock you off their policy or offer you their precision AI healthcare module option that's $1,000 more a month that can fix it wirelessly for you with their precision medicine release. And this is all openly documented.
And you know
as
what
part
really
of what they, and now we know why, because at the time I was kind of like, I don't get it. I don't think this causes this. What do you mean? Now I'm learning that what in her, so I had watched like 50 something of this lady's videos. And then I commented on one. I said, hey, this is one you just posted. I'm going to type my comment. And my question for her was, can you elaborate on what you think the Roni Roan actually was? Because I think I've heard you say that it was either a result of people's bodies being used in an increased fashion for computing, but then otherwise, I think I've heard you say that it's a program that was run, like a specific app that was run. And so when she answered me, she ended up having to delete the video that I commented on. So she posted 2 subsequent videos and said, hey, to the commenter who asked this question, I didn't forget to answer. I took a screenshot of your question and I'm going to answer because you asked a good question, but the answer is both. And I remember being like, so I'm listening. And she's basically saying that this cyber physical backbone went live in 2017. That means at a certain level of the internet as it exists right now, they already do this for everybody. So if anybody's ever experienced like oddities
I thought
in
you
their
said
health
2005
since
she started,
2017,
they were doing this.
well, that's when it was commercialized, but the backbone in terms of where everybody's on the system was 2017. 2005 was when step right up. All right, who wants to step for wife their wife? Okay, for 45,000, you can control your wife. Have her sit, have her shut the F up, have her speak up, have her look to the left, have her forget what she just saw. All of that stuff was commercialized, privatized. You can do it to your army. You could do it to
And
your
Amazon
navy. You could do it
bought,
to your Air Force.
participated in that back in, okay.
Right. You can use it, right, because you can use it for, control of the computer, or you can use it as the
But in
computer is just a node in a
2017,
bigger system. It's up to you. This is when the baseline backbone went live. The fact that a backbone means that it is the centralized place where all internet traffic routes through and back out. It's the main highway in the thing. It's the main aorta in the cardiovascular
and then so
system.
how does that explain 2020,
And
like with the G and
with the because what all the next couple years was about was instigating an app that tested the propagation of an electromagnetic disease, like a digital virus, like literally a computer virus. That's the crazy part, is that we've kind of come full circle on the term. Because a computer virus, as somebody who knows computer code, is simply just code written to change the function of a system outside of its primary use. That's all a computer virus really is at the end of the day. Your computer is set to do this, and somebody else writes malware or some code that says, no, do this other thing. So at the cellular function end of the day, that's what actually, ironically, everybody was dealing with, was this code that was blasted out. So the unique thing, because you remember you kept saying, I'm not in that camp of people who just think that there was nothing new and that it was all
there was something that was getting
kind of
some
a
people sick, for
reclassification.
sure. Yeah.
Right. According to this lady, that was a program run to test higher bandwidth usage on the backbone and to track the propagation of how the clusters and the demand spread, because the demand is what causes the illness. And that's why she said both of my points were correct, because the first question I was asking her is this just a byproduct of people's bodies being used for computing in general? And he said yes, but also because of this.
Okay, so basically, in a nutshell, by going from 4G to G, that's in conjunction with them sending some sort of a program just to kind of test out something in our bodies. That was a virus. So 2 things happened that was making people sick.
More or less, two key things. Because, well, really one key thing, because the one key thing triggers the second thing. The one key thing is that the app was propagated and people bioelectrically adopted it, and a percentage, whatever percentage that was, began the increased network function. You have to keep in mind, this is all based to not kill you, but to run your body like an internet server. So the protocols and the asks, if you will, what the data is asking for is it's asking who's the closest cluster in the node. How many people are around you? 8. How many of them have temperatures below 98 degrees or 99 degrees? Okay, these 4. Okay, great. How many of them have blood pressure here? Okay, these 3. Okay, process data on those 3. Because a computer server is asking that for all the servers. Server number 53, how much load you got? What's your temperature? What's your, like, where are you located? Oh, you're at the server farm way across town. Like, let's go to a closer node. Okay, you handle these 8 tasks. That's all a computer server switch is doing at a network or at any sort of industrial system. So all this is built to like coalesce with the humans, like with like one little turn of the dial. That's the crazy part.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So scientifically, based on your engineering and telecommunications, computer science background, what she's saying makes sense to you, right? It checks out. But can we prove that is what happened? Just like how if David Icke says, "Hey man, the Queen is a fucking lizard," and so is Joe Biden.
Right.
I'm not going to say no to that, but I'm not going to say yes either. I don't know. That's my answer. I don't know. He could be right. But so is it one of those deals? Because this is scientifically it checks out, but what she's saying, is that speculation on her end, or does she have proof that this is what happened?
So she would claim she has proof, and the proof would simply be her personal assessment of the data given her expertise on the subject matter. In her mind, she saw enough network activity increase in this unique way to to logically make the conclusion that what we were witnessing was a digital assault and nothing else. And keeping in mind, 3 years ago, I said the same thing. If the solution is tech based and the reaction is tech based, then of course the problem has got to be tech based. Like they're not going to have a tech based reaction and a tech based solution for a problem that's not tech based. I knew that much. I just didn't know that there is this body part that can wirelessly connect with your Wi-Fi modem, your 5G tower, your phone, your Fitbit, your Apple Watch, the sensors that they grew in everybody all these years through other means, the G or the H that was in all of this. Like that's the other big thing. So the second component of this whole Shimona situation was to justify the inclusion of what she keeps harping on as meta materials. And this is why the doink, doink, doink comes in. Because meta, as you hear this word, I mean, we're on a meta product as it is. Meta materials are these materials that allow for the manipulation of the electromagnetic environment, both in and around you, the air around you, as well as the molecules and electricity within you, that are synthetic in nature, or at least it's not synthetic to a biological environment. And these are things that are required for a much higher I/O bandwidth. So keeping in mind, myocarditis, soccer players collapsing, all these people with high demand in a cardio environment are the people suffering, it seems, from this inclusion. And everybody saw that, right? We just took it as bioweapon, or they want to kill us, or Pfizer wants to make money. Right. But according to others on her channel and forum who I've been interacting with, it's a lot of evidence suggests that this Roni is its own network. They call it the COVID area network, the COVID wide area network or body area network, COVID BAN. And that this spike is a unique protein that serves as a biomarker in and of itself that creates its own network. So in a way, it was novel because there was the inclusion and the transduction.
For someone like me, when you say the spike protein has created its own COVID network. What does that mean? Can you give me a different analogy for that?
So a network is just an agreement between several, we'll call them computers for simplicity's sake, an agreement between several computers to
Only with
communicate
each
on a
other.
particular
So
language.
it's like
Only
their
with each
own
other.
group
Yeah,
chats. Okay. Okay.
exactly. Great way to put it. Their own group. Correct. So the there's multiple vectors. Vectors are just entry points, multiple vectors for how they control what they control. And wearables is one of them. Extremely low frequency waves is another one of them. Microwaves is another one of them. LiDAR is another one of them. Using photonics and plasma based manipulation to control pressure around you, like in an acupuncture sense, where they literally hit your acupuncture pressure points with remote pressure. That's another. It's like all these are different modalities. They don't do it to everybody all the time. It's just what they can pull up on a
Okay.
button press
So
when they
the
want to.
people who got the juice, they have like a more powerful antenna now. That's so
Yes,
okay. So then
more or less. Yes, an antenna that handles more data in and out, and is causing their bodies to process more data in and out, which we're
or other
translating
forms
as
of
mind-body guidance,
sicknesses.
or other forms of sicknesses that often deal with like some inflammatory reaction or something that's like bigger
Okay.
or
So
overworked as
that's
opposed
why
to
when you
atrophy.
have some people who, like, let's just say someone's using my body as a server and there's activity going on, I
Mm-hmm.
might get sick and then my aura is going to be like tainted in some way. And then that frequency, when it rubs off
Mm-hmm.
with my son as we're hanging out and playing pickleball, he might get sick from me because of that frequency. Is that kind of like how people are getting sick in the vicinity without the
Yeah,
virus actually being isolated? Is that?
exactly. And if the beacon was increased bandwidth from 10% to 50%, then what happens is not a frequency in the general sense, but a network IP call, like a airdrop request, so to speak, is being bounced around from everybody to everybody else, saying, "Come on, come on, come on, come on, give me what you got, give me what you got." New data, we need 50% inclusion, not 10%, 50%. Crank the knob. So that 50% is making that many more agreements to create cyber physical networks amongst bodies that we're translating as, I got a
Right.
fever. You see what I'm saying? I caught a fever. I caught the COVID because I was within the biofield distance 8 feet of somebody. And that just electrically put me in their airdrop territory. And because this hack is being run on all of us, you know, so I saw somebody ask earlier, so if you're healthy, that means they could use you more. Yes and no from what I'm learning. I don't have the answers on all this, but from what I'm learning, yes, in a basic sense, but no in the sense that the ways that you actually fight this or combat this is to enter. She gives several different ways that you can kind of detox and try to help mitigate what's going on. But she speaks a lot about song and praise and worship and thankfulness and gratitude, and just the fact that when you do change your mood into just an immediate state of grace and thankfulness, the fluctuation, like I know it sounds all new age and woo woo, but the raising your vibration is a thing in the sense that the frequency does oscillate up and down, and the oscillation breaks their lock basically on you for a minute to where they have to
That's the
re-triangulate you.
solution. Basically, raising our vibes.
So as a general sense, yes, but keeping in mind that like not like the reason they have us focus on fear and how they perpetuate that is because that tends
Yeah.
to just keep you in a locked state. They could use you in perfectly high vibe state or locked state. It's just about a matter of being in a consistent state so that the algorithm doesn't have to keep re-locking on you. Like, you know how when you play video games and you lock on somebody in like a fighter jet game, you don't really play video games, but back in the day, right? You're playing Star Fox on N64 or something, and you lock onto somebody, and you can fire, but after a few seconds, they pull some move and they break the
Yeah.
lock. Well, now you got to hunt them down again to find lock again. So consistent states are what keep you locked. The second you can kind of move out of fear and out of your daily mull into something that's gracious, that just moves you up. And now
But
you're
what
out
if
of nowhere comes this
yeah, we
new
didn't need
G.
it. We didn't
And I'm
need it.
just
Things were fast
sitting
enough.
there like,
I I still don't
right.
use
Exactly.
5G,
I
man.
turn mine off. I don't even use
Yeah.
them. Yeah, me neither. Yeah, I just, you can go into the
Yep.
settings and just disable the thing that just only use LTE. So when you do that, your battery is insanely, it lasts forever. Anyway, so I was already like, so let me get this straight. Every time I look at my bill, it's higher because y'all talking about some, y'all need to increase y'all profits for this tax or this tax or this tax. Every time I look at y'all earnings call, y'all always talking about how you got a loss year over year and how we're doing this, we're working on this to get more and more and more. And I'm saying, so you're losing money in terms of growth because of inflation, I guess. But yet you're investing in a bunch of stuff your customers don't even know
Yeah.
exists and don't even need. I don't get it. So that was always why I was like, plus with this fifth generation, the towers have to be closer together than the fourth generation towers. And then I learned from this lady, oh, it's because the millimeter wave was part of the final step in getting their arsenal of top to bottom control in place. The ability to use millimeter waves to craft the air around and in your space. So it was like, it's like they needed 10 or so different technologies to overlap to get the full control thing going. And the millimeter wave was apparently one of the final ones. So that's the why they needed it, because they could do all this prior to the fifth generation, and they have been since 2005. They just needed to put it all on super duper mode and get it all rectified
Do you think
and oscillified.
that may be one of the reasons why they got Bill Gates
Yeah.
on board?
I think that this man is one of the faces at externalizing what's really going on, because I have heard Microsoft pop up a lot. And I think that it now tells me why he's so involved with this, because this is just bandwidth. You see what I'm saying? It's just more IO, more synthetic materials to get his main hustle, computing in eugenics, off. This is all bioeugenics. This is like the new expression of eugenics, shutting certain genes off in the people we don't like and other ones on the ones we do, bringing these types of character traits through and sitting those down, giving these diabetes and milking them for all the money and kicking them off the insurance when our AI precision healthcare says that they're not worth it as a unit anymore on the ledger. Then it is the bedrock for the entire blockchain. And when she started talking about that, that's when I was like,
Wait.
got it.
Can you
Okay,
explain
wow.
that? The benchmark for the whole entire blockchain.
So blockchain. So the blockchain, if anybody's familiar with Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain, any of that, the key distinction to understand is that blockchain is the foundational technology. Cryptocurrency is the expression. CBDC is a form of cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is a form of cryptocurrency. But cryptocurrency is just one type of use of the blockchain. NFTs are a separate type of use of the blockchain. They form a type of currency in a way, but they're technically separate. So I have heard it from friends who've invested and from other people who have considered investing in crypto mining operations. These are buildings, often small data centers or large data centers that have thousands of computers and giant AC systems to keep them all cool, because they're processing light at an incredibly high rate for IBM computers. This is where quantum computers come in to then take this all to the next level. But these server farms and these Bitcoin minings are kind of like, if you have the initial capital to invest in all the computers and the buildings and the AC systems, then you can get your return pretty quick because the demand's high for mining crypto. So when I find out from this lady that the entire backbone of the internet is being mainlined and fast tracked in warp speed into position, because cryptocurrency and blockchain in general was always meant to be operating off the supercomputers of human bodies. And that this distributed ledger, and I'll explain what that means in a second for those who don't know, the system is so vast and robust and kind of beyond the scope of traditional servers, which is why it's kind of a burden on traditional servers, because it was never designed to be run on traditional servers. It's just they didn't get this part of the party to the bus quick enough, so they had to use traditional servers for this like
And
10-year
our bodies could
intermediate
handle
gap.
and process that, like blockchain technology, better than whatever servers they have now. It's just too much.
Your bodies can process any data,
And this
better
is
than any
what they
computer could.
need
Yeah.
to enforce eventually the central bank digital currency. Is that
In a way that would actually like work ubiquitously in any sort of quick way? Yes, they would need some sort of like computing model that could actually bear the load of all financial transactions just for the cryptocurrency aspect, never mind all the government ID and all the other stuff that's not currency. So what they're proposing with blockchain was always so theoretical and like in the future we will and by 2030 we will, because everybody who's in that space knows, well, cool in theory, but like how you gonna mine all this? It's like it's kind of a BITCH to just keep up with Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin and the few that exist now. Now y'all want to talk about licenses and IDs and all
yeah.
media and books and like all this other stuff on top of the blockchain. So I always knew, and it's been stated in all the official from MIT to Johns Hopkins and everywhere in between, that the DNA and bodies are the quickest. Like I've heard comparisons like your body's like 8 million times or something crazy the speed of a computer, or like the fastest computer processor. And it really is. And this is why I think Apple's technology and all this machine learning is going nomenclature into the human body, the bionic chip, neural networks and machine learning and all this kind of AI. She also talks about how ChatGPT and OpenAI are partially run off of this cyber physical backbone too, which is crazy if that's how fast, that's how so doggone fast. That's the other thing. I'm like, so there's a giant pandemic, and then out of nowhere, two crazy robust AI systems just pop online. Just bloop, ChatGPT. Hey, I know y'all are bored and sitting at home, and we just came through a pandemic, so basically everybody's broke. But here's this crazy, I don't know, ask it whatever you want to, and it'll give you an answer in 3 minutes system for free. You see what I'm saying? It's just like, and OpenAI
So
too.
let
Like,
me ask.
those type, yeah, similar, like a large overlap. So she's basically saying that in the GitHub, so GitHub is like a forum for coders. It's like like just some sort of like marketplace, if you will, for coders, for people who do computer coding. She's like, any nerd that can code in Zigbee and Bluetooth. Zigbee is just a simple coding language. Bluetooth is just a simple coding language. Could buy a $300 device since the 2000s, and with their mind open their garage door, because we're dealing with radio frequencies, basic stuff that your little RC car was in. They just never told you your body can interface with that stuff. And so, yes, it harms you. Yes, all this ionizing and non-ionizing radiation equally are harmful, just at different levels. But they've hidden the body part, she keeps saying. And this body part is yours to use however you want to. And certain people have much stronger auras or biofields than others. Like certain people have much stronger arms than others.
No,
You know what I mean? It's
but
just a
this is
body
like
part.
I'm sure I represent the people watching this, including you, but like I feel so fucking violated. If this is true, like I feel
Yeah.
so violated right now. These motherfuckers, as it is, we're all pissed off at
Yeah.
them as it is, and now they're using our bodies for as an antenna to communicate and steal our data and process shit in our blood. I mean, it sounds kind of crazy, right? When you say it out loud,
It does. It's when you say it like that, it sounds insane. But that's what makes it so fascinating, because I'm like, it's the most insane thing that mathematically checks out. Like it's like that's what makes it such a chuckle in a weird way, because I'm like, huh. So They're just repurposing the human body to act as a computer, because basically computers are dumbed down humans. Computers were built to operate like dumb humans. Stupid instruction codes, no internal creativity. Do this, in electricity in, output out, I/O. Same general premise in terms of just like schematics go. But now I'm realizing that with the simple inclusion of this wireless antenna that interfaces with all of our wireless devices, we now process information in binary, ones and zeros, to the tune where people can all openly admit, yeah, I was thinking about a puppy, and then I started seeing puppy ads on my Instagram. Everybody said, oh yeah, I was talking about dog chow, and then the dog chow ad came on or something. But it's been more recent that people are like, yo, no, I didn't mention this at all. I was thinking about it.
Yo, man, motherfuckers trying to sell me pickleball products everywhere, man.
Right. But I'm saying, between what you talk about, what you think about, it's all part of the like marketing. So if I'm an advertiser, I'm just gonna buy 100,000 people in my demographic and say, tell me who's thinking about the products that I sell, and I'm gonna market it straight to them. And apparently, since 2005, if you got enough money, you can do that. You want make your Stepford wife, if you want your son to be the best athlete in the world, you can do all that. So this is what I mean by like, can sports be rigged? I mean, I guess if stuff like this goes on, it's like, who knows? Like, it might be like Biofield perfection practice.
We really want to revisit COVID and start like raising hell on this shit. But how could we not, if this is true, like how could we not say anything about it, you know?
Well, because it's bigger. The good point, but I think that for me, it's just bigger. It's giving me the clue as to what this Shimona really was, but it is bigger than the Shimona, because the Shimona was just a phase advancement in what it already was, and it's not the end goal.
So are you?
So
wait,
I'm looking at this, and
so
I'm
are
like,
you fully convinced that this is all part of the 2030 transhumanism agenda? Like this is what is, because that's what David Icke has been saying the whole time, you know, so a lot of people have been saying that.
I am convinced of that. Yeah, and I think that what her work has made it click is to why their investment up to this point has been the way it has been. That's really that's got me locked into why I think she makes the most sense. Is because I'm standing there as a telecommunications major, and I'm saying, I see so much forward trajectory with deployment of certain communication systems, but with little return on that. Like, you can't be justifying spending billions of dollars on 5th generation technology when everybody's complaining about the bill for their 4th generation technology, and you're losing money as a company, and Sprint was bought by T-Mobile. You know, it's like everything's crumbling on the business side, but yet the investments are just going up. And then I go to the bank one day, and they're like, I'm like, hey, I'm trying to withdraw some cash. They're like, okay, cool. Let me see your ATM card. Put the ATM card, type the PIN. They're like, okay, great. So we're going to text a code to your phone. Just tell me what the code is. And I'm like, I'm here standing in the bank. I mean, sure, the code is right here, but like, since when did you start asking for 2-factor authentication at the bank? That's a thing now. And I have it in my big project that I'm mapping out. This 2-factor authentication, this is going to be a real big problem. Everybody thinks that's such a good thing, and I'm already looking at this like, I think we just walked into a trap with that. Because what that means is that we've now got to the point where banks won't let you get your own money out unless you have a cell phone service on you.